You waiting on me?
No, I'm waiting on it. There we go. Wi-Fi, we got it.
Oh, cool.
It's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. Did y'all miss me? We had a couple of days off. We took some much needed time to get some other things done, but we are kicking the week back off on April 12th, this Tuesday, with a very patient and gracious man. David Carr Jr. is here. He's going to perform for us. He's an artist. Huge shout out to Jill for the intro. And I love this quote from his dad, and I'm going to read it to you. Just worry about getting the tone. The notes will come. So we're going to take a deep dive into that. Welcome, David. Welcome. How are you today, my friend?
Man, if I was any better, I don't know what I'd do with myself.
Yeah. I love it, right?
Right.
Have a positive attitude, which we want to talk about. So I told you before we went live, the audience loves to get to know the artist. They want to know.
Right.
So tell us a little 411 on your background and how you got here.
Oh, man, I got here 50 years in the making. So, 12 years old, my dad hands me a saxophone. Or before that, he lets me see him play. Then I figure I want to play. He gets me one, spends all of $20 on it. I still have it. It's sitting right there. Actually, it's right here. You'll love this. It was part of the interview, so that's my very first.
Nice, beautiful.
I have played on movie scores and won talent shows, all kind of stuff with this particular horn. But anyway,
have you really?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's a pro horn, so and it's 100. It's like made to 40, so it's. I still
Why
play.
that instrument? Why had your dad played? Were you?
He played, and he took me to one of his gigs in running late and sat me down, gave me a Coke, and his band was already playing. He's running late as usual. So this big old, good-looking 6'8" brother with his dashiki on walks up with his tenor saxophone while the band's playing and just starts burning the place down with his horn. I'm like, okay, that's me. That's me.
I love it. And then did you ever try other instruments? Are you one of those people who can just pick something up and know it, or have you focused solely on the sax?
Most talented artists can piddle around, depending on what they need to do. Like out of necessity, I play enough keyboards to write and produce my music, and I play enough bass to record some of my stuff here. And I got a bass guitar sitting there. But saxophone is still learning me. It's still like, David, we're not there yet. I'm like, I know. So this is my baby, the tenor, alto, and soprano.
So when did you realize that it wasn't just going to be something you picked up and it was going to be a side thing that you did as your creative? When did you realize you were going to do this as a career?
When my dad handed it to me.
You knew?
At a tender 12 years old. He handed it to me. This is it. It's all over with. I learned how to play Old MacDonald Had a Farm, and I said, everybody's in trouble now. Yeah.
What about COVID? I love to ask artists this because, COVID just changed everything, the way we did everything pretty much.
Right.
How did you, as an artist who was probably, I'm sure, used to performing live and engaging your audience, how did you continue that creativity and not lose it when everybody was locked down?
Well, the internet beautifully my fans and would log in. Facebook had the live thing you could do, and I would set up in my living room and I would set a camera up and start playing and help me survive it because I didn't realize how much you depend on it, but you don't really realize how much you depend on it because I've been doing it.
Agreed. Yes, I get it, and I think it's interesting. Even though we sort of had begun Zoom before COVID,
right?
Artists, everybody's got a story about how they learned how to engage an audience in a different way. Because This is, even though I'd love to have you right next to me or right in front of me, multi-camera, and you performing,
right.
This was the norm, and so you had to figure out as an artist, all right, this is how I'm going to do it. Was it a difficult transition for you, or did you just jump in?
I just jumped in. What was difficult is not performing. That was the difficult. I'm semi-tech savvy, so I know how to set PAs up and build computers and all that kind of stuff. I had out of necessity, but so from a technological standpoint, I was cool. I mean, it was just I got to perform somewhere.
Well, it's like a baby. I tell people if you're not a creative, what you don't understand is that it's like a baby birthing. It's something you've got to get out. It's this thing that must come out. Right. And if you're not doing it, you're not being fed. Your soul, your spirit, everything else isn't being fed if you're not doing the thing that you're made to do. And obviously that was what was a challenge, I think, for a lot.
And I never took it for granted. The second my old man handed it to me, and every day, and you know, things happen to you in your life from a very young age up until me being 62 in July. I'm doing a birthday concert in Oklahoma City for my birthday bash. But I don't take any of it for granted. Playing it, being alive, you know, listening to other artists doing great work and still hanging in there, especially if they're veterans. Still doing it? Good. That's what I want to hear.
Still doing it good. Yeah. I think you have a great presence. Like there's so much positivity oozing out of you, which people feed on and they feel, because a lot of people don't have that. And so kudos to you. I know it's a natural thing. You're being authentic, and I love it. I want to go back to Dad, because the title of the show comes from Dad. Yeah. Just worry about getting the tone, the notes will come. So give us the history on that.
So he hands it to me, and I'm practicing, and you can't come. That's me and him right there.
Love it.
I'm tender 14 years old right there, and I'm frustrated. I said, Dad, I can't, you know, these notes. I'm play them high notes. I'm play, son. You need to worry about that tone. The rest of he came by my room, and he's 6'8", so he's you know, the rest of it will come.
Yeah.
He said, give yourself 10 years and you'll start seeing it. He was right. The man was genius. Right. He was right.
Well, he had done it. He had lived it. He knew it. His blood. Yeah. He understood how to work it. I think a lot of people, you know, tone, for people who aren't musical, tell them what the difference is. What is tone compared to notes? Why? Because I remember Paula Abdul, go back to American Idol, she always would say, I love the tone of your voice, the tone. What is it as far as you're concerned? What does that mean?
My personal philosophy, the goal in it, is to try to avoid it sounding like what it is. In other words, get as close to a personality, a vocal approach to the instrument. Because I know the notes and all these modes and I understand and I respect all of it. But the cats I grew up listening to had these personalities in their playing, and it was revolved around their sound, of their tone of their saxophone.
Yes.
That doesn't sound like a horn. It's a saxophone. But is he singing that? You know, that expression. Yes. You know, yes. He did that with 3 notes, all the inflections. And this is the worst design thing in history. I mean, this is pathetic. It won't help you. It gives you no assistance, none. So you either suck, you know, or you do it very well. Some guys do it very well and don't have, their sound isn't that great. They can nail this thing down. This thing is the most unforgiving thing in the universe.
But when it's played well, when it's played, when the tone is beautiful, when the emotions, I feel like a sax is one of those instruments where you can feel that emotion if it's played well. You
absolutely.
And I can tell when we've had a lot of musicians on, and whenever, it's not that often that a sax player comes on. But when they do, one of the reasons why I take myself off is I really get into that. You feel that. You feel what you're feeling, and it's an instrument that if you're doing it right, the audience is going to feel it.
They'll respond to it. Yeah. If you're doing it, because that thing is it's trying to vocally get to you.
Yes.
If you're doing it right, that's my opinion.
So tell us about 2022. What's going on in your world as far? Are you back to touring? Are you back to performing live?
I am. I've got a show April 30th. Here, downtown Dallas, Southside Lemoore. I'm performing with a very talented friend of mine, a world-renowned artist, painter, named Rolando Diaz, a Cuban artist, and at the Euphoria Theater downtown Dallas, across the street from the police station. It's awesome.
Love it.
Theater. And then I've got a couple of private things coming up, but the next big show is June 11th. Opening up for a friend of mine, really talented guitar player, Jeffrey Smith in Fort Worth. I'm opening up for him, so those tickets are for sale as we speak. And my concert in July 9th in Oklahoma City at the Jazz Lab, UCO Jazz Lab there. I'll be turning 62 that day. So,
all right. So the audience wants to hear you. Tell us. I'm going to take myself off. You tell us what you're going to play. Give us a little background, and then take it away, my friend.
there's a, been writing all this music, during COVID. I write all the time anyway, so I managed to get a couple albums written. And this particular song I think it's a fun thing. Features the tenor sax, and it's a song that another artist friend of mine named for me because I couldn't come up with a title for it. So he came up with Salient Touch. I thought that's perfect. It's got kind of flowing like water, so it's very cool. So you can dance, you can groove. I hope you enjoy it. It goes like this.
All right, David Carr Jr., guys.
Ted, can you hear that?
I cannot hear the music.
But you cannot.
Nope. But take your time.
That's weird.
But if we hear you,
you hear me.
I can hear you great.
But no music.
No music. No track.
I don't get it. Well, Ted, I don't know what's going on because I've been testing this crap all morning.
It's very interesting. So you know what? If you can hear it, start it, and we're here to listen to you perform. So
okay.
If they'll be able to hear the sax, that's for sure.
You know what? Let me. I'll just turn up the speakers. I'll just turn up the. Spent all this time setting up for it. And,
take your time, my friend.
Okay. I apologize for the hold up.
You are no worries. We like looking at your little studio. You got this thing going on there. It looks good.
Let's see here. Any music yet?
Yep, I can hear it now. I hear it.
We'll grab the sax with it.
Love it.
Okay.
Man.
I hope that sounded okay.
Oh my God. It sounded so good. So the truth of the matter is that I take myself off in case you're bad because my face would not be able to. You can't make that up.
You're as bad as I am.
I learned that early on.
That's good. That's good. I like
face
that.
Told a story that I did not want to tell at one
Right, right.
What I mean, I don't know how you can't be happy and in a good mood and mellow and having fun all at the same time when you're listening to that. That was awesome.
That's one of those. That's one of those songs that has all those little elements in it.
Oh my God.
Kind of got all sexy stuff in it.
And, yeah. You know what I also did notice is it, and maybe you weren't, but it just looked like you were smiling when you were performing. And I mean,
in my heart and soul, I am. I can tell you that.
It comes across that way, but that's the part we were talking about earlier, where the audience can feel what you're feeling and feel what you're trying to get out there with the music and the song.
Right.
I loved every second of that, David. I
hope so, because the sound that it's like you prepare. It's like you can't hear the track.
You sounded amazing. Beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. All right. So before I ask for all of your information, because I want people to be able to find you, download your music, I'm asking everybody different questions, personal question, not too personal, I promise.
Right.
When I say the word hero, who's the first person that comes to mind for you?
My dad.
And why?
If he didn't take the steps, and he wasn't perfect, because he's just a man, but he paved the way for me as a human being, and as a musician, son, you have to always try to do better. You always have to try to do better.
Beautiful. All right. I love that answer. Tell them the best way they can find you, download your music, y'all buy it. These artists, it's good to support them. Stream it, whatever, follow your schedule. What's the best way for them to do that?
Hit my website, davidcarjr.com, my Facebook page. I'm on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon streaming, Pandora. Just trying to keep up with all of them. Just, and if you want CDs, see, you come to me. You have to go to my website to get those. And you audio people out there that want the music the way it was meant to be, since they're kind of trying to get rid of CDs, because you streaming it and it squeezes it down. It's not. If you want it in its right form, you still get CDs from me.
I love that. Brother, you're a joy. Thank you so much for being patient, coming on the show. I would love for you to come back anytime you've got something new, something you want to talk about, something you want to perform.
Well, I'll be releasing something else here pretty soon, and maybe Jill will reach out to you.
Come back on anytime. Y'all go to davidcarrjr.com. We've also tagged David on social media. You can find him, or you can reach out to me. What a blessing, my friend. It was a great way to kick off the week for me. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure and honor. Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to meet you, Ted.
Y'all get out and support. I feel the same. Support David. We want to support our artists, our creators.